Hello, welcome to our series, Fresh and Raw. I'm Chef Kristi Reich. We're here today to show you how to make healthy, affordable dinners on a time frame, and it's all gonna be raw foods which have the most living enzymes for your body. So today we're gonna make some raw tacos. It's gonna be delicious. Everybody in the family loves tacos, so here's a different spin. Some fresh kale shells. We're gonna use those as the actual taco shell. You can use Swiss chard if you don't enjoy the hefty texture of the kale. We can do a really simple salad taco using a romaine lettuce slice. Or you can just pick some fresh collards right out of your garden, and that's gonna be your taco shell today. So all of this I was able to pick up for less than $5, and as you can see, we're gonna make about 30 tacos today. So we all know tacos is all about the spread that you have, all those little bits that you can put into the shell to make it taste delicious together. So for about $3 to $4, I got some of these sprouted beans, which are delicious. They're gonna be our chili portion of the taco. And the first thing I'm gonna do is marinate those with some organic olive oil. Just drizzle a little bit on there. I'm gonna use a touch of salt, a splash of the chili powder. I'm gonna grate some fresh pepper right on there. And maybe just do one tiny splash of lemon juice for some acidity. So as we're making the rest of our dinner, these raw beans are kind of gonna marinate in this chili sauce, and they're gonna become part of the meat texture of our taco today. Now, of course, when we're talking about raw food, we're talking about raw vegan. We're not talking about beef carpaccio and raw duck liver. That's sometimes what people ask me when I say, have you ever tried raw food? They're thinking raw meat. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about raw nuts, raw seeds, raw unrefined, unprocessed oils and vinegars we can use in our dressings to make them taste beautifully and offer us the most nutritional value for our bodies. So my favorite recipe that people always compliment me on is my raw taco meat. What I like to use is some organic pecans, and we're gonna need a food processor for this dish. Unfortunately, a blender is not gonna work because we do need the blade to kind of hit all the nuts and crumble it into kind of a ground meat consistency. But if someone in the family is allergic to nuts, you can also use some raw pumpkin seed. I'll just sprinkle some in there anyways to show that it really doesn't matter what you're using in there. We could do some sesame seed, some hemp seed, pour in some chia seed. I've got some cashew in there. It's all gonna turn into a perfect little meatloaf that we're gonna make today. So we wanna ground the nuts in a dry food processor, and it can be a mini one or a magic bullet as well, but we don't wanna add any liquid at all because then it's gonna kind of make it wet and turn it more into a sauce than a crumble. So my favorite thing to add to this is a little splash of sun-dried tomato right in there, and that's essentially gonna be the base of our raw taco meat, as well as a splash of the chili powder and a little splash of the turmeric for color and added nutritional value as well. So, based on this recipe, you'll notice it literally takes 1 moment to make this, so there's no excuse at home of why you couldn't make raw food, how expensive it was. This takes 1 second, and remember, your time is worth money, so maybe the ingredients cost a little bit more, but your time is worth something as well, people. So we'll turn that on. 3, 2, 1, done. So you saw how fast that was, right? There is our raw taco meat consistency. And the last thing we're gonna do is add a splash of maple syrup in there. We're gonna put this on for literally 1 more second until it goes together like that. Woo! Okay, so we don't want to process it too long because otherwise it's going to get wet and it's going to turn more into a glue than a crumble. So we'll put some of this in the plate. You can see what it looks like. Pull that out and save it for later. Oh yeah, delicious pecan taco meat. Now this literally tastes fabulous. You can use it to make meatballs, falafel balls. You can dehydrate the crumble to sprinkle on salads. You can use it in your raw tacos. You can even smoosh it together with a whole bunch of vegetables and make a meatloaf. So there's a million ways you can use it. You're pretty much gonna substitute that anywhere you might have used ground beef and use this instead. It's way better for you and it tastes way better too. Let's just make sure of that though. Oh yeah, on point. So we'll set that aside. Now we're gonna make a simple salsa. So in the same container, I don't even need to wash it. We're gonna make a simple salsa. What I did a point of was buying some tomatoes that weren't quite ripe yet. They're nice and hard. And I have some from my garden as well. We're just gonna throw that right into the food processor. Now when we're making a salsa, you're gonna get creative. We can do pineapple salsas, mango salsa, spicy, medium, mild salsa. You can try almost anything that's gonna blend in a food processor, cucumber, melon, in a salsa. I'm gonna do pretty traditional today. Do some cilantro. I'm gonna have some onion in there. I'm gonna chop up one of these jalapenos, throw it right in. Don't worry about chopping it up finely because the food processor is gonna do all that for you. It's just a tiny little drizzle of olive oil is all you need. 1 splash of lemon or lime juice, fresh, or you can get the culinary brand. 1 cap full of apple cider vinegar. Always start with 1 cap. You can always add more later. And to mellow out the acidity of the tomatoes, 1 little swirl of your maple syrup or a couple of your dates right in there. So I think we've got everything besides salt and pepper. I didn't put garlic in this one recipe. I'm not sure if everyone in your family enjoys it, but you can use a lot or a little or none at all if you want. So we've got it all in the processor. Let's turn it on, have a taste. So we don't want to over-process it. You'll notice I only left that on about 5 seconds, and here we've got a nice, beautiful, fresh salsa. If it has foamed up a little bit, that's totally fine. It'll, go away after a couple hours of sitting. But what I want to do is have a taste and make sure the flavor's right. It's perfect. There's nothing else I need to add. Ooh, and that jalapeno adds the perfect amount of heat. Oh my goodness, maybe a little too much. So yeah, you can adjust your recipe. If you found you made it a little too salty or a little too spicy, just add a little bit more tomato, lettuce, kale, all of that sort of thing to dilute it. If it's not salty enough and you need to add a little bit more, don't be afraid. The trick is to try it 3 times. By the 3rd time, it'll be perfect. All right, into the bowl that goes. Delicious. So we'll set that aside. If you have some big pieces in there, it's not a big deal because we're doing tacos. We're gonna layer everything into the taco and you won't be able to see minor imperfections like that. So back to our chili. You can see that it's nicely marinated. This is a dish that I haven't tasted yet, so again, we're gonna make sure the flavor's there. Every single element of your taco fillings, you want to be flavored properly because once you get the kale or the chard or the cilantro or whatever else you're layering in there, all of the salt and sugar from these recipes is all that's gonna come through, so you need them to be all on point. These are very fibrous, so I'm just gonna add a little tiny more splash of the maple syrup for sweetness. Give that a little stir. It's gonna be absolutely perfect. So there's several different kinds of taco shells you can pick up. Today I've gotten beautiful Swiss chard, nice organic kale, some nice collard wraps from my garden. You can even just stick with a nice romaine lettuce leaf. All of these are gonna work perfectly to hold your taco ingredients. And once they're all in there, you can kind of smush them together, use that as the perfect taco shell. So get creative. There's lots of other things you could use, cabbage, any other sort of long leafy green, or even a zucchini boat. You could hollow it all out and put your taco stuff inside. So we'll start with our bean mixture. We'll just put a little bit of that in each taco. It's gonna be so much fun. If there's some other things your family likes to have, definitely have it ready and in there. With Mexican foods, fruit goes so well, it's unbelievable. Some fresh strawberries or pineapple in that taco just makes it sing. So we'll just add a little bit of this pecan crumble right into the taco shell as well. And now we've got 2 kinds of proteins in there. We've got the nuts and we've got the sprouted beans. Absolutely delicious. And now we'll move on to our salsa. Oh my gosh, does that ever look healthy, good, and ultra rustic? Love that. So we'll squish a little bit in there. And then you can get creative too when it comes to the toppings. You can spiralize up some zucchini, use alfalfa sprouts, some shredded lettuce. Today we're just going to use a couple sprigs of the fresh cilantro, maybe a little piece of a fresh tomato right on top. And it's pretty much ready for you to enjoy. So you can see that these recipes each took about 5 minutes as long as you have the ingredients here. So we'll give this a little taste. And at the same time, we'll thank our sponsor, Nature's Fair. Thank you so much for the beautiful food. I love it.